Have you ever wanted to know which champion has the best win rate in the current patch, or who has the fastest kill this season? If that sounds like something you'd like to know, you should check out League of Graphs, which is what we're going to do today. Hi, I'm One Week and welcome to my channel where I check out programs and tech that I use while gaming. Today we're going to be looking at League of Graphs. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of tabs on the left which we're going to go through, starting with the home screen. So on the home screen, there's a sort of overview of the whole website. So we have things like popular champs in this patch, best champions and other things, as well as all of the champions below. So moving on to the champions tab, we're not going to go through this in full detail, simply because it's quite similar to basically every other website that looks at this. But we're just going to go quickly to the overview tab, which gives you a list of every champion. And this is also where you can go through things, basically all the filters that the website has. So you can pick all champions, you can choose a versus, you can choose your roles, as well as your league, how long games go for, and your region, as well as normal ranked or ARAM. So if we just have a look at Ezreal, for example, so currently the highest popularity champion in this patch, or most popular champion I should say, and if you click on him it gives you basically the overview of his win rate, ban rate, counters, is countered by, best summoner spells, most popular summoner spells, as well as his runes and starting builds. So you can do this for any champion, as well as again using those filters. The one that I really want to have a look at though is in this More tab, where there's some kind of cool stats. So you can look at things like win rate by experience, snowballing, progression, or main champion stats. I really like the win rate by experience one. I find it quite interesting. So what this tells you is basically the win rate, again using these filters up here and all regions. It will tell you the champion's win rate in your selected filter. So in this case, Platinum Plus is 50%, whereas win rate with the champion if you have 50 plus games experience. So you can see there's quite a big difference, and we can filter by that difference, either highest or lowest. So the next tab we've got is the ranking and stats tab. So again, we can look at the best players as the first one on this, and this is basically all solo information. So we're going to move this to the OCE, because obviously that's my server. So we can see that DW Toronto is the best player currently. You can then move on to records. So this is the things like most kills in a game. So 45 by Illusion, and again this is all Platinum Plus. Most kills at 10 minutes, at 20 minutes, the time of the first kill, so 30 seconds is the fastest kill this season by Silas. And then you've got most number of deaths in a game, the time of the first death, assists, killing spree, barons killed. You can basically pick any stat. And it's probably on this page. So longest time alive without dying is kind of cool. There's just a bunch of really cool stats in here that are pretty interesting. So things like wards place, who places 474 wards in a game. The next one is quite self-explanatory, is ranked distribution, which basically just tells you where everyone in OCE or whatever server is ranked and how they're distributed. And then on the right here, it has average rank of people who main these champion, or every champion this season. The next tab is the blue versus red team. And this is just a bunch of stats about blue versus red side. So you can see the win rate in either solo queue, flex, or ARAM. And then the number of dragons killed in these different modes, as well as the champion win rate difference, depending on these sides. We've then got the Drake stats, which is quite interesting. They have Drake stats, either 1, 2, or 3 Drakes killed, and the win rate when you get these stats. So the win rate for just 1 dragon, Cloud is the highest, or Air. 2, then it's got all the different combinations, and then 3, it's got all the different combinations as well as those win rates. So win stats is a whole bunch of different stats where it's the win rate after a certain event happens. So after getting blue or red, after First Blood, and then it's got the sides as well. And then First Herald, First Baron, First Inhibitor, all those sorts of things. The surrender stats is another one that I find quite interesting. So as you can see, this is the surrender rate per division. OCE Challenger is massive at 66%. We can see if we go to Korea that it's not quite as high, but definitely those higher divisions tend to have more, but in general, Korea is a lot higher than OCE. And then everyone's favorite, we have the AFK stats. So all those times you've said that someone AFKs in every game, you can actually see. So we have, for example, games with AFK, we can see in Iron and Bronze, it's about 10 and 11%, and then slowly goes down and then has a bit of a tick up in Diamond. And then we also have the champion AFK rate. So Akali is currently the most AFKable champion, or maybe most tilted, depending on how you look at it. And then it sort of goes down. You can filter this by the lowest and the highest, which is kind of interesting. And then we have the game durations tab is the next one. So that's simply how long the games go for, and either including the surrender or excluding the surrender. And that's got that for both ranked solo and ranked flex. And the last tab in our ranking stats is the win rate based on wards placed. Just the warding tab. So the first one is based on wards placed. Then we have the wards per role on the right here, which just tells you how many wards each role is placing per game. Win rates based on the wards placed, and then the trinkets at the start of the game and trinkets at the end of the game for each role as well. So the next tab is the Teamfight Tactics tab. This one's new, but again, it has some of the similar stats. So obviously it has the best players. As far as the rest of this goes, I don't actually play this game mode, so I can't give you much of a rundown, but I'll show you what the tabs are anyway. So it has an item tab, which will give you information about the item, as well as what it builds into. Has a team builder option, which you can basically click on two champions or as many champions, and it'll give you any bonuses or suggested next champions to put with these teams. The champions tab, fairly self-explanatory, just gives you all the information about all these different champions. And then the tier list is the last one here, which, again, fairly self-explanatory. Just gives you the tier list for TFT on the current patch. The next section is the infographics section. What this does is they do up an infographic with a few sort of key stats for each patch. So as you can see on the 9.14 patch, it goes through the most popular, highest win rate, highest ban rate, win rate changes for the top 5 champions, and then win rate by side, win rate by first, and then the average match duration as well. And it's got this for each of the last few patches, so you can go back and have a look as well if that's something that interests you. So the next section is the LCS section, which is basically the pro section. So you can filter this by tournaments, or you can just look at all tournaments so you can see what pro games are coming up, and it'll give you the games and then what league they're in as well as the time in your local time, which is helpful. Again, we can go through to player stats. So you can see the highest win rate, and this is across all tournaments, as you can see up here. And you can also pick roles. So if we want to see who the current highest win rate AD carry is, who has the best KDA, that sort of thing, or we can filter that further by different champions, by different players or roles, and we can have a look. So we can filter that further by different roles, or we can go down further and have a look at some of the other stats like farming and time between kills or deaths. Next, we have the team stats, which again is just those same stats we were looking at the players, but just as a whole team thing. And again, we can filter that by the league this time, or the tournament. The live stream, again, pretty self-explanatory. It'll put the live stream up of whatever's on at the moment. So in this case, we've got the LCS Summer Academy being played. And then the next tab we have is the replays. So you can choose replays from the last few games. You can choose the spoilers on or off. So if we want to see what happened, we can have a look at that, or we can leave the spoilers on. Again, filtering by which tournament we want. And then here we can see all the tournaments as well. And that's just a quick way of going directly to that tournament. So if I wanted to see what's happening in the OPL, I can click on that and it'll take me straight to that page. And then lastly is the win stats for the LCS, or in this case, the OPL. So if I want to go back to all tournaments, it will show me what the win rates are. So that's the same as in our ranking stats page. So it'll have blue team versus red team, after first blood, first tower, and then gold advantage and things like that. The next tab is the live game stats, which is also known as Porofessor. I did a video on that already, so I'll put a link to that one in the description as well as up on screen now if you want to find out more information about their live stats version. And then the last tab we have is the replays tab. So this basically allows you to find replays with either specific events, so pentakills, high KDA, pros, or pro games, as well as filtering by particular details. So if you wanted to find, say, an Aatrox versus maybe a Garen game, you can go have a look at that, or Gangplank. Let's go Garen. So it'll find me a game where Garen plays Aatrox. So we reset those filters, and we can then filter by different levels. We can filter by how long the game goes for, or the region. So for example, if I wanted to have a look at the last Challenger game or a recent Challenger game in OCE, I can do that and it'll pop up, and then I can watch that replay. Thanks for watching this video on League of Graphs. If you like what I'm doing, drop a like on the video or subscribe so that you can stay in touch from that next video. If you have any questions about League of Graphs, leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.